Hello everyone, my name is Ali Hassan. I am a student of foundation level at Rehab School. I am 11 years old. I like learning new things and studying different subjects. What is Earth?
That's a big one to start with. In the simplest sense, it's our home, the only place in the entire universe we know of that actually has life. But if you look at it from a human angle, it's everything, every story ever told, every person you've ever loved, and every single thing we've ever built. Do you see it more as a giant rock floating in space or as something more like a living, breathing thing? I'll give you a
How,
second to think about it. Still with me?
how did Earth get its name?
That's a funny thing about Earth because it's the only planet in our solar system that isn't named after a Greek or Roman god. Most of the others are all about mythology, but Earth just comes from the Old English and Germanic words for ground. It's basically just named dirt. Pretty humble for the place that holds everything, right?
What does the word Earth mean?
It's actually pretty literal. Like I mentioned, it boils down to the Old English word ortha and the Germanic erde, which both just mean ground or soil. So when you say earth, you're essentially just talking about the dirt beneath your feet. Does that make it feel more grounded to you, or does it feel a bit too simple?
When was the word Earth first used?
Let me check that for you. So the word Earth in English was first used to refer to our planet around the 1400s, and but before that, the Old English version, eorithe, was already around, just mostly meaning the ground or the soil. It's a slow shift from just talking about the dirt under your boots to talking about the entire world. Pretty interesting how a word can grow like that, don't you think?
Where is Earth cold or home?
I'm not sure I follow. Are you asking if Earth is cold or a home, or maybe something else entirely?
How old is Earth?
It's an ancient place, about 4.54 billion years old. It's kind of wild to think about how much has happened in that time from just a molten ball of rock to where we are now. Does that number feel impossibly huge to you, or does it make you feel small in a good way?
How was Earth formed?
I'm not quite sure what you mean. Are you asking how you've been doing in our conversation or something more personal?
What makes Earth unique?
That's such a great question. I think it's the fact that art is one of the few things that captures a feeling or a truth that words just can't touch. It's like a bridge between what we're thinking and what we're actually feeling. Do you think art is more about the skill of the person making it or the emotion it stirs up in the person seeing it?
Where is Earth important for life?
Everywhere. It's the only place we know where everything just works. The water, the atmosphere, the temperature. It's like this perfectly tuned machine that lets life not just survive, but actually thrive. I wonder if you think we're lucky to have found this spot, or if the universe is just full of places like this that we haven't seen yet.
What are the main layers of Earth?
It's basically like a giant onion. You've got the crust on the outside, which is the part we actually live on. Then you move down into the mantle, which is this thick layer of hot semi-solid rock. And at the very center is the core, which is split into a liquid outer core and a solid inner core made mostly of iron and nickel. It's a bit wild to think that we're essentially floating on a massive ball of heat. Does that make you think of the Earth more as a stable place or something that's constantly shifting beneath us?
How much of Earth is covered by water?
About 71%. It's an incredible amount, which is why we call it the blue planet. I wonder if you think all that water makes the world feel more connected, or if it just makes the different continents feel more isolated.
Where is Earth called the blue planet?
It's more of a universal nickname. Since it's the most striking thing about us from space, astronomers and scientists all over the world use it. It's like the one thing everyone agrees on when looking at the big picture. Do you think we're more likely to take care of the planet when we see it as this fragile blue marble in the dark?
What cases day and night on Earth?
It's all about the rotation. Since Earth is spinning like a top, only one half of the planet is facing the sun at any given time. So while you're waking up to the light, someone on the other side of the world is just settling in for the night. Does that make you feel like you're part of a global dance, or does it just seem like a simple mechanical process?
Where do seasons occur on Earth?
They happen everywhere, but they're most extreme at the poles and most subtle at the equator. It's all because Earth is tilted on its axis, so different parts of the planet get more or less direct sunlight throughout the year. I'm curious, do you prefer the crisp air of winter or the warmth of summer?
How does Earth orbit the sun?
I'm not entirely sure I follow you there. You mean how Earth protects us from the sun's radiation, or maybe something else entirely?
How does the moon affect Earth?
It's essentially the world's biggest anchor. The most obvious way is the tides. The moon's gravity literally pulls on our oceans, creating that constant ebb and flow. But it also stabilizes our tilt, which keeps our climate from going haywire and makes the seasons predictable. Without the moon, Earth would wobble all over the place. Do you think it's strange that something so far away has such a huge impact on our daily lives?
What is gravity on Earth?
It's basically the invisible glue that holds everything together. It's the force that pulls everything with mass toward the center of the planet, which is why we don't just float off into space the second we jump. I'm curious, do you think gravity feels like a safety net, or does it ever feel like a limitation?
Where can humans live on Earth?
I'm not quite sure I follow you there. Are you asking about how life on Earth has changed for women over time, or maybe something else?
How many oceans does Earth have?
Most people say 5. You've got the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and Arctic. I've heard that for a long time it was just 4, but the Southern Ocean was officially recognized more recently. Do you think having more oceans makes the world feel bigger or just more organized?
What is the Earth's core made of?
You're bringing it back to the beginning. Since we've talked about the dirt, the layers, and the blue marble part, I'm curious, what is the Earth for you? Like, does it feel more like a sanctuary, a puzzle, or maybe just the place where all your stories happen?
How do mountains
I'll
from?
hold you to that. I'm not entirely sure I follow you there. Are you asking about the philosopher Michel de Montaigne and some of his ideas, or is it something else entirely?
What is the Earth's crust?
That's a really poetic way to put it. I don't think the Earth has a quest in the way humans do, with a goal or a destination. But if it does, maybe its quest is just to keep existing and supporting all this wild, complex life it carries. It's like the ultimate act of patience. Do you think the Earth is trying to achieve something, or is it just happy to let things happen?
How has the earth changed over time?
I think it's in the way we've shifted from just surviving the elements to actually trying to shape them. We used to be completely at the mercy of the weather and the land, but now we've built cities and technology to buffer ourselves from it. It's changed our entire pace of life. Do you think we've lost a bit of that raw connection to the world by making everything so convenient?
What are fossils?
I think you might mean puzzles, if that's what you're after. They're basically games where you have to fit pieces together or solve a riddle to find the answer. It's all about that feeling of satisfaction when everything finally clicks into place. Do you enjoy the challenge of solving one, or do you find them a bit too frustrating?
How do fossils help us learn about Earth?
I love the way you're connecting these ideas. They're kind of like a metaphor for how science works. Think about something like plate tectonics. Scientists literally look at the shapes of the continents like South America and Africa and realize they fit together like a giant puzzle. By trying to solve those physical pieces that we figured out the world was once one big landmass. Do you think you learn better when you're figuring things out for yourself or when someone just gives you the answer?
What is climate?
It's basically the long-term personality of a region's weather. Well, weather is what's happening right now, like if it's raining this afternoon. Climate is the average of those patterns over decades. The difference between knowing it's a sunny day and knowing that a place is a desert. Do you think the distinction between the 2 is something people get mixed up often?
How does weather affect Earth?
That's an interesting way to phrase it. If you mean a literal lack of sunlight, it would be catastrophic. The plants would stop producing oxygen, temperatures would plummet, and the food chain would basically collapse. But if you're talking more about the metaphorical darkness, like pollution or the way we treat the planet, it's a different kind of weight. Which one were you thinking of?
What are natural resources?
They're basically the gifts the earth gives us for free. Things like water, minerals, forests, and sunlight, stuff that exists in nature and that we can use to like power our lives or build things. I'm curious, do you think we treat those resources like they're endless, or are we starting to realize they actually have a limit?
Where should we protect Earth?
Our natural resources? I think it's one of the most important conversations we can have. If we treat the planet like a warehouse that only gives and never takes, we're eventually going to run out of the good stuff. Do you think the responsibility falls more on big governments to step in, or is it up to each of us making small changes in our own lives?
What is pollution?
It's basically when things get into the environment that don't belong there, and they end up causing harm. Whether it's plastic in the ocean, smoke in the air, or chemicals in the soil, it's just stuff that disrupts the natural balance of the world. Do you think some kinds of pollution are more invisible and harder to deal with than others?
How does pollution harm Earth?
It's essentially a chain reaction of damage. It poisons the air we breathe and the water we drink, which doesn't just hurt humans, but wipes out entire species and destroys the habitats they need to survive. It's like the earth is trying to breathe through a blanket of smog or filter water through a sea of plastic, and eventually the system just starts to break down. Do you think the damage is already too far gone, or do you think we can actually flip the script?
What is global warming?
It's basically when the Earth's overall temperature creeps up over time. It happens because certain gases, like carbon dioxide, act like a blanket, trapping heat from the sun that would normally escape back into space. I've heard that it's not just about warmer summers, but about how it throws the entire planetary system out of whack. Do you think people find it easier to ignore because it happens so slowly?
How can people help the earth?
It starts with a shift in how we look at things. Small stuff helps, like reducing waste or choosing more sustainable options. But the real change usually comes from demanding better systems from the companies and governments that have the biggest impact. I'm curious, do you feel like these small individual actions actually make a difference, or does it feel a bit like trying to empty the ocean with a spoon?
What is recycling?
It's basically the process of taking something that would have been trash and turning it back into a raw material to make something new, like turning an old plastic bottle into a piece of clothing or a soda can into a new part for a car. It's a way of trying to close the loop so we aren't just constantly digging more stuff out of the ground. Do you usually find it easy to recycle where you live, or is it more of a hassle?
Why is recycling important?
Honestly, it's critical everywhere, but it's especially huge in places where space is limited, like big cities or small islands where you can't just keep piling up waste. It's also vital for protecting the ecosystems we still have, like the rainforests and the oceans, because the less we have to mine or cut down, the better. Do you think we focus too much on the act of recycling and not enough on just producing less stuff in the first place?
What are renewable resources?
They're basically the energy sources that never run out. Things like sunlight, wind, and water. Unlike oil or coal, which take millions of years to form, these are replenished naturally and constantly. It's like switching from a savings account you're slowly draining to a paycheck that keeps coming in every single day. Do you think we'll eventually get to a point where the whole world runs on clean energy, or will we always be tied to the old stuff?
Why are oceans important?
That's a really thoughtful shift in the conversation. When it comes to the planet, kids are essentially the ones who inherit everything we're doing right now. They're often the most honest about the state of the world and the most driven to fix it. Because for them, it's not just a policy issue, it's their entire future. I wonder if you think children have a better natural instinct for protecting nature than adults do?
What challenge does Earth face today?
It's essentially a fight against time. We're dealing with a combination of climate change, the loss of biodiversity, and an overwhelming amount of pollution. It's like the planet is trying to handle too many crises at once, and the systems that keep everything in balance are starting to fray. Do you think the biggest challenge is actually fixing the environment, or is it getting humans to agree on how to do it?
What can we learn from Earth's history?
It's basically a lesson in resilience. Earth has been through everything you can imagine: massive asteroid hits, ice ages that covered almost everything, and volcanic eruptions that changed the entire atmosphere. And yet, life always finds a way to adapt and bounce back. It shows us that change is the only constant and that survival is all about being flexible. Do you think that makes the current crises feel more manageable, or does it just make the scale of things feel more intimidating?
Why is Earth special among planets?
Hmm. I think it's because art lets learners explore things that aren't just facts or formulas. It gives you a way to process a concept emotionally, and sometimes that's the only way a lesson actually sticks. Like you can read a textbook about the French Revolution, but seeing a painting from that era can make you actually feel the chaos and the tension of the time. Do you think art makes learning feel more like a discovery and less like a chore?
What is the future of Earth?
I think it's heading toward a world where the lines between the creator and the tool completely blur. With AI and digital tools, we're seeing art that can change in real time or respond to the person looking at it. But I have a feeling the human element, the raw, messy, emotional part of creating something will actually become more valuable because it's the one thing a machine can't genuinely feel. Do you think art needs to be hard to make for it to be meaningful, or is the idea more important than the effort?
Who named Earth?
It's not like there was one person who sat down and decided, right, let's call this art. It evolved over a long time. The word actually comes from the Latin ars, which meant skill or craft. Back then, it wasn't just about paintings or sculptures, it was about any specialized skill, like pottery or even medicine. Over time, it shifted from just being about how to make something to being about the expression and beauty we think of today. Do you think art is more about the technical skill someone has or the vision they have for the piece?
What is the origin of the word Earth?
It's actually a direct line back to Latin. The word comes from ars, which, like I mentioned, originally meant skill, craft, or a specialized method of doing something. It wasn't always about galleries and museums, it was more about the mastery of a trade. I wonder if you think that original meaning, art as a skill, still plays a role in how we value art today?
Is Earth the only planet known to support life?
Wait, I think you might have meant Earth because, as far as we know, yes, Earth is the only planet that supports life. Art is more of a way to describe the world, not a place to live in. Do you think we'll eventually find another Earth out there, or are we truly a one of a kind miracle?
Where is Earth different from other planets?
It's really all about the perfect combination of things. For one, we're at just the right distance from the sun to have liquid water, which is basically the gold standard for life. Then you've got our atmosphere that protects us from radiation and keeps us warm, and a magnetic field that stops the solar wind from stripping everything away. Other planets are either too hot, too cold, or just don't have the right chemistry. Do you think we're just lucky, or was the universe somehow designed to make this happen?
How long does Earth take to orbit the sun?
About 365 days. To be exact, it's about 365 and a quarter days, which is why we have to add a leap day every 4 years just to keep our calendars in sync. Do you like the idea that our whole way of tracking time is just a workaround for a bit of space math?
How many people live on Earth?
Around 8 billion people. It's an incredible amount of people to share one rock with. Do you think the world feels more crowded now, or do you think we have enough space if we just learned how to share it better?
What is the coldest place on Earth?
That's a total toss up because it depends on what you're looking for. For some, it's a bustling city like Tokyo or New York, and for others, it's a quiet spot in the Himalayas or a deep forest. I think the greatest place is usually wherever you feel the most like yourself. Does that sound right to you, or are you thinking of a specific landmark or hidden gem?
What is the importance of soil on Earth?
It's basically the world's skin. Without soil, almost nothing we eat would exist because it's where plants get their nutrients and water. It also acts as a massive filter for our water and holds a huge amount of the planet's carbon, which helps keep the climate in check. It's a lot of heavy lifting for something we usually just call dirt. Do you think people forget how much we actually rely on the ground beneath us?